What's going on, everybody? PNC here, back with another video. Just wanted to get my thoughts off real quick on a few things. I was reading the comments the other day, and there was a notion or some comments that came up from an individual that said, oh, well, maybe if you be nice to, the children's mother, and, maybe things will go more your way. Well, let's have a quick discussion about that, and let's talk about why that does not work. And I have the perfect example of it that just occurred. So perfect timing for me to get my thoughts off right now. All right, so check it out. I received a message the other day from the kid's mom saying, hey, the kids don't have school on Friday. You can pick them up Thursday after school. I responded back and say, all right, perfect. This is great. I'll go ahead and, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and make the travel arrangements for that now instead of doing it on Friday. And, we'll be a little easier and smoother for the transition. Fast forward, I get a message about a couple of hours ago, essentially saying, oh, change of plans. Kids aren't going to be available on Thursday. And, I'll be at the exchange location that I've never been to, that I refuse to go to, on Friday at 7 o'clock. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm like, okay, at first I respond back to her and I say, hey, I've already made travel arrangements. I'm flying in from out of state. I have to get a rental. I've got to schedule everything. And you obviously know with airlines and rentals and everything, the cost goes up the closer you get to the actual departure date, your actual date of travel. It gets a little bit more complicated, more expensive, and it's more cumbersome to try to put that all together. So by her sending me a message on the family, Talking Parents app or whatever, and then turning around less than 24 hours, from the departure date and saying, hey, change of plans, we're going to move it to Friday. Well, that messes my whole entire schedule up. I've spent over a couple of grand just in travel, just for the weekend, flying the kids back and forth, with reservations. So I respond back and say, hey, well, this doesn't work for me. I've already made travel arrangements. Pretty much her response was, oh, well, and it kind of goes to show, and to give you some backstory on that, there was a email exchange where she's drumming up a bunch of issues with the kids and their schoolwork while they're with me. And mind you, they're only with me on the weekends. So if there's any ongoing projects, if there's any, long-term homework or anything like that, I'm not really aware of it unless it's being communicated to me. And I'll even ask the kids and say, hey, do you have a project coming up? You got a project due? Whatever it is, do you got something coming up that I should know about? And sorry for the wind noise, guys. I didn't know it was gonna be windy out here, but I definitely want to get out here and get my thoughts off real quick. So I asked them the question, I help them with their homework. I drop them off back at school. I get a Nastygram email and saying, oh, we need an intervention because the kids are, they're late and they're getting expelled from school, and, they're not getting their classwork done or their homework done, and there's projects due and they're not getting done. There was a project due on Monday. There was a book report. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Well, a couple things from that, and mind you, I responded to that email and I let them know, said, hey, any homework that they had, we worked through it. Didn't know about the book report. Had I known, we would have worked on that as well. Definitely didn't get an update for a due date, it being on Monday. And if it's a book report, why would we expect to start working on that book report Friday evening and then turning it in Monday morning if it's a book report? That means that they've had ample time to work on it. I've been to school a couple of times, so I'm kind of familiar with how that works. And again, just getting back to my point, that email exchange didn't rub her the right way because I went ahead and corrected her, and her comments towards, our child's teacher about, oh, well, since, they flew in, they didn't get anything done. And that's not true. That's not the case. The fact of the matter is she tried to email the teacher for an extension after I dropped the kids off on Monday for some homework that was due on Tuesday morning. She wanted that extension and said, oh, well, since the kids were so tired from travel, they didn't get a chance to do it. That's not the case. You try to make it seem like they didn't do their work when they were with me over the weekend. And since you didn't get it done Monday night for the homework that was, assigned and due Tuesday morning, you want an extension for that, and it's all my fault. So I went ahead and corrected that and said, hey, it looks like, according to this email, that you, want an extension for work that was assigned Monday evening. So it makes no sense. Again, getting back to the point of being nice, this woman got so upset that she's, the kids don't have school on Friday. Typically, when there's a 3-day weekend, I'm allotted to come in and pick them up early and spend that time. But she's denying that. Now she wants to go back and go by guidelines on the actual court order, which she's never followed. My original videos were over the fact that she won't even show up to the custody exchange location at the time to do the custody exchange. Now, all of a sudden, now that I live out of state, now you want to go back and say, oh, okay, well, let's meet at the custody exchange location. You've never even been there. You've never been there. You refused to go for months, 6 months. You refused to go. And now all of a sudden you want to turn around and go and show up and actually be there on time. And you want me to redo all of my scheduling to basically cut my time short with the children. Forget being nice. There's no niceness in this. The courts are not going to be nice to you. The judge is not going to be nice to you or show you favor because you're being nice to the children's mother. The reality is you need to do what's in the best interest of your children, even if that means stepping on mom and calling her out for her BS. And I'm always going to stand on my square on that business. I'm always going to stand on that. I'm never going to sit here and say, oh, okay, well, let's just try to be nice to her to keep the conflict down to a minimum. That's probably a part of the reason why I'm not married today, is because I was too nice to this person and they're using my kindness for a weakness. You cannot be nice in the family court. The family court will not be nice to you, especially as a father. You're damn near the opposition, and they're going to try to do everything they can to convince whoever they can that these kids need to be with their mother, even though, the fathers are trying everything they can do, spending an egregious amount of money in travel, making accommodations, taking time off of work, doing everything just to make sure that we're present for our children. And this is what we get. This is the thanks we get for this. So the comment about being nice, you can keep that comment. Like it's never going to work. Niceness yields absolutely nothing, especially in family court. Maybe you haven't been in family court. Maybe you are in a scenario to where, your new husband made so much money, or, the kids were already grown to where you didn't have to deal with the family court, or who knows what the scenario is. But my particular scenario is I'm dealing with someone who thinks they're a lawyer, who's a paralegal, that thinks that they can come in and change the rules in the middle of the game. There's a difference between being nice and being cordial and trying to co-parent and being a fucking narcissist. Okay? So what we're dealing with right now is a narcissist. We're dealing with someone who is bitter about the decisions that they've made and they want everyone else to suffer as a result. Me personally, I'm not suffering. My kids are suffering. My kids are the losers for this. And I've said that in multiple videos. There are no winners in family court. The kids are the losers. Okay, the parents don't lose. There's no winners. There's no losers. The kids lose. And I'm always going to stand on my square on that. I'm never going to sit up here and listen to a comment and say, oh, maybe I should give it a try. No, we've tried that. That does not work. I will never go back. I will never go back and try to be nice to a person who is trying to destroy my character, who is trying to destroy my finances, who's trying to destroy and alienate my relationship with my children, who's trying to slander my name in front of anyone who would listen. So that's out the window. It's completely out the window. Fellas, stand on your square. Fight for your kids. Don't matter how much it costs. I'm paying an egregious amount of money for an attorney. I'm getting deposed. I got court next week. I got, all kind of stuff going on. I'm spending a couple grand every weekend traveling back and forth, bringing my kids out here. Hey, it is what it is. I will go broke fighting for my kids. It is what it is. But they will never say that their dad wasn't there for them. As much as their mother is trying to make that happen, it ain't going to happen because I'm not going to stop. So we can keep this going all day long. And I will not be nice to somebody who's trying to destroy me. That is ridiculous. I will treat you like the opponent you are. If you want to co-parent, if you want to actually collaborate on things and work together to actually have a better life for our children, I am completely open to that. I've tried to be open to that. I tried to do that when we initially filed for divorce. Hey, let's have an uncontested divorce. Everything was all good until I saw the stipulation in order that demanded me to cough up an egregious amount of money and move out of my house and give up custody of my kids and all. No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing any of that. And I'm not being nice to you since you don't like my answers and you're trying to destroy me. That's not going to happen. So buckle up. We going for a ride. I'm fighting for my kids. It is what it is. You know, drop a like, comment below. Give me your thoughts on this, because at this point, you know, hey, we're in it. We are 100% in it, and there's no backing out now. You know, if we got to have an evidentiary hearing and bring all the facts out, let's do it. If we got to have, you know, any other type of motions, or I was even, you know, this morning I got threatened on an ex-party just to change the custody orders, because she doesn't like the fact that I'm picking the kids up from school and dropping them off and I don't have to interact with her. It's crazy. But let me know what you guys think.